when children are going to, like, let's say their dad's house or mom's house, and maybe you're splitting the time with your children, how do you even, like, create a sense of normalcy in your child's life? Is there anything that you can do as a parent to create like some sort of balance when they're going to do, they're shuffling their time between two parents?
Yeah. I mean, I think if we change the word from normal to new normal,
Hmm. That's, yep.
because it is a new normal.
That's true. Absolutely.
And what the research shows is that consistency is key.
True. Hmm.
So I know now there's a lot of this, 5 days here, 5 days there.
Right.
And that is hard on the children. But if the parents can be as organized as possible, that's great.
Hmm.
Now, some parents, I think that flexibility is best in a way. Okay, you want structure, but with some flexibility.
I see. Yep.
And, there's so many things like shared Google calendars that the whole family can be on.
Hmm.
And kids have soccer, they have clubs, they have sports, they have tutors.
Hmm.
So there's a lot to coordinate.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that's key. And again, structure is key. If there's any sort of, you can, like, if you can keep their schedules consistent, at least, I
Yes.
think that'll just kind of like make the job a lot easier. Now, parents are also asking, again, it's a different story. We know it's difficult to talk about divorce in certain cultures, but what if, your child is in a situation in a classroom where maybe a friend asks, oh, so, or you talk about it with your classmates. For children specifically, I mean, are there any key strategies to how they can handle this while they're at school?
Sure. I think it all starts with the parents. So, this is a very simple concept. Children do what parents do.
Oh,
They don't do what you tell them to do,
yeah.
right?
True.
I learned that.
Yeah.
My son actually at 25 cleans his room. I didn't think that was going to happen at 16.
True.
So if you lead from a place that's not filled with shame and that's honest, and that's, just kind and compassionate, and you allow your children to talk about it and feel their feelings about it, when their friends ask them, they'll be like, yeah, my parents are getting divorced.
Right. Yeah. Again, and that is so profound. I think it all starts at home. It's really difficult. This is a life altering situation. It's sad, it's painful for the parents, but you have to put that brave front out for your children.
Yes.
It is super important.
You
Yes.
do. You do. And the way you lead them through is the way they will come through.
Wow. Yep. I think we in this we forget how resilient children are. You put them through situations, they come out of it stronger. But they really need that support from the parents. So I think that's so key, that a parent has to be mindful, that I have to put up a brave front. So I love this. But are there any like red flags that a parent should be aware of when it
Yes.
comes to emotional distress in children? Like, is there anything
Oh,
to
yeah.
share?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Before I go to that, I just also want to say that the silver lining in divorce is that it shows change. And change in life is inevitable.
True. Yep.
So I think that that's a really important thing to also focus on.
Absolutely.
The way I work with this is that a child's behavior is a communication. Remember how I spoke in the beginning, a family is a system.
True.
So when the child's behavior is a communication to the family system.
Right.
And children, if you see a child acting out with hitting their sibling a lot or over the top anger, irritability is the number one sign of depression in a child.
Oh, wow.
It presents very different in children than in adults. lying, bullying, being extremely defiant.
Oh, wow.
Those are ways we call it acting out or acting in. This is a child really acting out.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So hitting, anger, irritability, lying, bullying, or being defiant, of course, on a spectrum, on the higher level.
Correct. Yeah.
That to me is a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the other end, they can act in.
Right.
They can withdraw, they can disengage, or have, severe separation anxiety.
Oh, wow. I see.
Yeah, so you want to look for that because and children, due to their temperament, behave differently. Some act out,
Correct.
some act in.
Right. Absolutely. No, I think that's absolutely key. And would that be, if you notice these signs, you are noticing this change in your child's behavior, would that be a good time to seek therapy as a family? Like, when does therapy come in? I'm a big proponent of it, and I really want parents to know what is the right time to seek therapy.
Yeah, so that is a good time to definitely seek therapy. If you feel like you can't handle it, right? And I understand every parent is a therapist.
Correct.
So, but usually a child will act out or act in if they're not feeling felt.
Wow. Okay.
If they don't feel seen, if they don't feel heard.
Wow.
And if they don't, there's something called marked mirroring, which is a super important term that parents need to know about, whether you're getting divorced or not. It's that when the child expresses an emotion, sadness, anger, it's really important to reflect back to the child, oh, I hear you're sad. Those tears show me that you're sad. Oh, wow. Validate it. That must be really hard.
Right.
I remember my daughter when she would go to kindergarten and she would cry. I would always hug her and say, it's so hard to be 5. So hard to be 5,
Right.
And so then when you reflect back their emotion, then soothe it. Oh, what do you think we could do to feel better? Do you need a hug? Do you need a walk? Do you need to take a bath? So it's called marked mirroring. You reflect back to them what they're feeling, and then you soothe it. Because underneath the behavior are feelings.
Wow. I love this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Because children don't just act out.
Right.
People are like, oh, they're trying to get back at me. I'm like, they're 7.
Wow.
Right?
Right.
So if that doesn't work, and the child's a little bit more tight, like vaulted up because for various reasons, could be temperaments, certain things going on, then yeah, go to therapy. Sure.
Right. I know. Oh my gosh, I love this. So many important statements made right there. I am just in awe. Really. No, really, I really appreciate this.
Oh, I love it.
Now, the question is, you have a 5-year-old or maybe a 6-year-old. How do you even, or even a preteen, right? There's still a lot of stigma around therapy. How do you get them to see a therapist? I mean, what are the strategies here? How do we even open up a conversation that you're going to be meeting with a therapist? It's absolutely normal. What do we do?
It depends upon the child. For really young children, it's different because really we just do play therapy. Okay. Because they're not really so capable of processing and having insight. So you can actually say you're going to go play with an adult, you're going to go play dolls, you're going to go play house, and you're going to go use your imagination.
Wow.
To work out how you feel.
Correct. Yeah.
And child therapists, play therapists are amazing people. Wow. I mean, there's sand trays and where they little creative elements. Right. And for a teenager, that could be a little trickier, But I always, if a teenager comes to me, and I the first thing I say to them is, there's nothing wrong with you.
Right. Yeah.
This is just a conversation. This is a safe place for us to talk.
Correct.
And therapy is a resource. And if
Mhm.
you don't like it, you don't have to come back. You don't have to go back. But can you at least try it?
Right. Gosh. Yeah. No, that is absolutely key. But also, I guess again, as I mentioned, in certain cultures, there's still a big
I
stigma.
know.
A lot of unfortunately, a lot of people that I know are going through this process. It's really difficult to talk about it. I feel like they feel very isolated. What do we do as like, friends or family just to kind of like destigmatize divorce or separation? Do you have any tips for us?
Yeah. The most important thing is to be non-judgmental,
Correct.
right? I think
Mhm.
it's judgment that causes us to feel shame.
Right. Yep.
So I get it that culturally, of course, there are different norms and ways of being and implicit messages that people get sent.
Correct. Yep. Hmm.
And to at the end of the day though, no matter what race, what gender, what sexual orientation, we're all just people.
Correct.
We're
Yep.
no better, we're no worse, and love is the hardest thing in the world, and relationships are the hardest thing in the world. Yet
Absolutely.
nobody teaches us how to do them,
Correct. Yep. Hmm.
right? So
Yep.
I think if some, if someone comes to you and you see that they're feeling shame, just to really be non-judgmental and be curious
Right.
and
Yeah.
ask them, what can I do to help you get through this?
Wow.
Because I
Absolutely.
know in maybe their parents are shaming them,
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
but it's not their parents' lives,
Hmm. Right.
right?
Yeah.
But that is a really big issue for sure.
Right. And I love this. I think as friends too, as supportive members, you have somebody in your community who's going through this. I think what's important is it's important to remember divorce or a separation does not make you a bad person. It's just that you're two good people who are just not compatible to live with each other. That does not discredit you. That does not make you any worse. I think that's what's really key here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, people look at it as a failure, but
True.
failures and mistakes are inevitable.
Correct. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And again, I just want to emphasize that it's really hard to be in a relationship for a long period of time, especially now because a lot of us
Absolutely.
don't have extended family around us,
True.
you
Yeah.
know? And so we're relying on that one person to be everything.
Wow. That's actually true. Yeah.
And it's super hard. And I really wish one day we do teach about relationships and social emotional intelligence in school.
Why not?
I mean, I had to go to school for 10 years to learn.
True.
Why do you think I got my doctorate? Just to deal with my family.
That is so true. And I think what's worth mentioning here, when I was doing my research for this topic, I came across article after article that mentioned children who are, from single parents or from a divorced background, they fare just as good emotionally as their peers who come from like, married like normal households.
Yeah,
That's so key.
it's so key. It's so
Yeah.
key. It's so key. And it's all in how we always say you need one person,
Hmm.
right? So mothers or fathers need to be attuned to their children 30% of the time.
Okay. Yep.
I hope that offers a relief, right?
That's good to know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ladies, gents, put yourself off the hook. You only have to be a good enough parent,
Right.
and you're going to make a mistake. And I've made plenty of them, but then I'll always apologize to my children.
Oh gosh, we forget to do that, right?
Yeah. All relationships have rupture and repair, rupture and repair.
Right.
As long as we apologize and say, well, you know what, mommy just really screwed up. She was stressed out. I'm so sorry.
Right. Absolutely. I love this. I think when children hear this from their parents, one, they are no, they understand that parents are capable as grown-ups of making mistakes. If
Right,
you acknowledge them, it's fine. You're gonna make your mistakes. So
right.
it's a great concept, I think, that families need to
Yes,
uphold. I
yes,
love that.
yes, yes, because we're not perfect and we make mistakes. Failures are inevitable. And I don't look at divorce as a failure.
Right.
I look at it as an attempt to do something beautiful
Of
and
course.
didn't work out.
Absolutely. And again, as parents, you have the right individually to lead a happy life. We're living so much longer, as you said. So it's really important that you are in a happy relationship. Now, again, on those same lines, the question that came up is, for parents who are, let's say, contemplating remarriage or are seeing somebody, they
Yeah.
really wanted to know, like, how do they introduce that partner to their children? At what stage should they do that? Like, how do they open up this conversation?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, first of all, children have to get acclimated to the fact that their parents are separated or divorced.
Hmm.
And that takes time.
Right.
It does take time. And, the research says a year. Again, I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but I do know children need some time just with their parents being separated
I
before
see.
they bring somebody in.
Okay.
And I would assume that they would want to know that other person for a certain amount of time.
Correct.
Children, you can't introduce your children to tons of people, right?
Right.
That wouldn't be healthy.
Hmm.
And I want to bring up another really important point that happened for me in my own life. I met my second husband. I've been with him 22 years. My daughter was 5 and my son was 3, and we fell madly in love.
Hmm.
And through my daughter's a therapist and through our conversations, sometimes she felt left out because we were so in love.
Wow.
And so, I offer that to people, like, to not make the same mistake that I made in a way. Not that I was doing it intentionally,
Correct. Yeah.
but we have such a beautiful relationship
Hmm.
that I was like, yeah, I could see that, because my children are everything. And then you bring in a new person, and they're like, hey, what happened to me? Of course,
Right.
you're not forgetting about them, but to a 5-year-old's brain,
Wow.
just to be aware of that.
Oh, wow. No, I think that really hits home. I think this is really important. So kind of like, and I love this when you said that, just kind of like get them used to the process, even if they're little, right? 4 or 5 years old. These are really fragile years. And then
That's right.
slowly, when you are comfortable yourself with the partner that you're seeing, things are going good, you can gently introduce them
Right.
to their lives.
Right. And then actually, they get a bonus parent.
Yeah, that's so true.
They
Yeah, I love
do.
that.
They
Yeah,
do. And that comes with its own, stuff to manage for another podcast, for another video.
correct.
But I mean, I have 3, you know, beautiful stepdaughters, and like, it's beautiful to get to be their friend. I'm not their mom.
Right, absolutely. Oh gosh, I love the concept of bonus parents. See, I'm telling you, in this conversation, we've like really, you've actually opened up the conversation to so many interesting concepts that I absolutely love this. So this
Oh,
is
thank
great.
you. Yeah, right. And any concepts that I've mentioned that people don't understand, they can just Google it and
Absolutely.
go deeper into it because there's a
Correct.
lot of good information
Absolutely. And
from
again,
from from most websites, not all.
yeah, absolutely. No, I think we really did cover most of the questions that came in. And obviously, once this video is posted, if parents have more questions, I will definitely reach out to you for them. But this is
Yes,
this
my
is
pleasure. I'm happy to
yeah.
answer anything.
No, this was absolutely amazing, Dr. Nave. Really appreciate
Oh,
your
thank you
time.
so much for reaching out.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
listen, I always say parenting is the hardest and most rewarding job.
Absolutely.
So be kind with yourself, parents.
Right. No, take it, it's again not easy, but just remember you are doing your best. You
That's
love
right.
your child. You just have to convey that to your children, and that's really what matters.
And that's really what matters. Yeah. And everybody has the capacity to do that, for sure.
Wonderful.
We hope you found this information useful, and don't forget to tell us what you think. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, or visit us at www.projectparentsunited.com.